As part of a secret military build-up, the avaricious Trade Federation required a heavy landing craft in order to transfer their vast droid armies down to planetary surfaces. The Heor Chal Engineering Corporation was contracted to fulfill this need, and after much debate, the C-9979 variant was selected. These mid-sized, H-shaped vessels were wider than they were long due to a set of thick, double wings flanking their central hull, which terminated in a set of sturdy landing gear on the bottom. This shape made them instantly recognizable, whether the ship was in the terracotta shades of the Trade Federation or the blue and white livery of the Confederacy of Independent Systems. While these vessels did have hyperdrives, they were still short-ranged craft, and so typically relied on a mothership for long-distance travel, while using their ion drives and powerful repulsor systems for sublight flight. Due to their large size, the wings of each landing craft could not be supported through structural strength alone, and had to be held in place by tensor field generators in the central hull, with yet more in the wings preventing them from sagging. However, since these fields could be turned on and off, the wings could easily be removed for storage between missions. This was a necessity to prevent the hanging wings from applying unnecessary strain on the physical connections between them and the hull. Within the giant wings was the vessel's huge transport bays. These had semi-modular interiors for different types of cargo, from basic troop transport, where they carried thousands of battle droids, to hundreds of heavily armoured ground vehicles. They could even be used as a carrier for up to 144 starfighters, or have special cargo attached to their exterior. Spare room inside the wings, along their leading or trailing edges, was given over to small droid maintenance bays. When in Trade Federation service, a typical loadout consisted of 114 armoured assault tanks, 11 multi-tube transports, and 28 platoon attack craft, as well as all the droids these vehicles carried. The majority of these craft were packed tightly together within special garages on repulsor tracks, with a minority kept within the central foot of the main hull ready to be deployed. After touching down at a suitably clear landing area, perimeter field sensors within the foot scanned the local area for landmines or other hazards before the deployment doors opened, disgorging a small vanguard force to further secure the area. The next combat units to follow were carried down a ramp from a small staging area on the upper deck where they powered on, which was fed by the repulsor tracks within the wings. Despite this automated system, the dense packing of the vehicles on board and the single exit points from the transport meant that the entire unloading procedure could take up to 45 minutes. Later service with the CIS saw these ships carrying a wider array of units, including NRN-99 persuaders and defoliator tanks, as well as deployable mobile command centers used to secure landing zones. As they were primarily focused on transport, C-9979s were only armed with defensive weaponry. Their dorsal service held a pair of turrets equipped with dual laser cannons, and each tip of the front set of wings carried a pair of heavy laser cannons. Further protecting the ship was a set of deflector shield projectors on the face of the craft, behind which was the control center of the ship. This also contained the control ship reception antenna, which was vital to the Trade Federation's operations, as they typically opted to use B-1 battle droids rather than organic crew for these vessels. One of the most well-known instances of the use of these landing craft was during the invasion of Naboo in 32 BBY, when the Trade Federation opted to protest against the new taxation laws by retaliating against a fellow member of the Galactic Republic. Many years later, after the Trade Federation had joined the Confederacy of Independent Systems, the landing craft saw widespread use across the galaxy throughout the Clone Wars, where they became one of the most distinctive vessels of the war, and a sure sign of trouble to come for those who saw them. You can support Spacedock by joining our Patreon, where you can get our Spacefighter design reference book. Alternatively, you can support us directly through YouTube by giving us super thanks or by becoming a channel member. Thanks to our supporters, and thank you for watching.